Justice League Dark number 9, written by Jeff Lemire, art by Mikkel Janin. This is essentially just a totally new thing. Like, Rise of the Vampires happened and then something else. So, also, I don't think Jeff Lemire was writing before, so definitely interested in this. Anyway, this story jumps all over the place. It is told very out of order. I'm going to give you the opening scene as presented, but then go in chronological order. But just know that isn't how it's presented in the book. So regardless, we open up in the Amazon jungle, where a man is being led deep into the forest with a bag over his head by what appears to be cultists. And as they reach the base of like this Incan temple with bloodstains all over it, we see that this cult belongs to Felix Faust, a powerful magician guy. And when the bag is pulled off, it is, of course, John Constantine, who's here just to, like, taunt Felix. And so he pulls up and he's like, "Hey, Felix, I heard that you had gone native, made yourself a little cult down here. I thought I'd join the party. Unfortunately, I don't look as good in a dress." And Felix slaps John and tells him, like, "Hey, shut up. I have power now. I have an army, and we're going to go march on the world." And he's like, "Oh, cool. Well, I brought my friends too." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't believe you because you always work alone. So, yeah, we're just going to kill you." And so they raise up swords to attack John. And then all of a sudden he's like, "All right, that's your cue." And we see one of the cultists transform into this unknown person who we will get to. Her name's Black Orchid, just to cut to the chase. But then we also see the rest of the team all turn visible. And we got Zatanna, Deadman, and Andrew Bennett, a.k.a. the vampire from My Vampire. And so they come in and they're all just attacking the cultists while John's lighting back up his smoke. And we get the rundown of the team where Black Orchid is, of course, named as the mystery person who we get the reveal to in the next scene. So, chronological order here. Open back up in Constantine's apartment in London. And he wakes up to a knock. Not even a knock on the door. He wakes up to a voice in his apartment. And it's Steve Trevor, who works with Argus. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I know you. You used to dick around with Wonder Woman, huh?" And Steve doesn't take that too kindly. But regardless, Steve presents the situation to him and says, "All right, we need your help. And if you help us out, I can make it worth your while." And Constantine's like, "What do you have that I could possibly want?" And Steve reveals the existence of what's called the Black Room, which is a government facility that holds all of these magical items that John would be very interested in. And John's like, "It doesn't exist. It's a myth." And Steve pulls out this Dreamstone from Dr. Destiny, which I guess is a powerful magical item. And John's like, "Okay, well, let's hear it. What's up?" And so he reveals that, okay, we have our own on-deck magician guy who does magic stuff for Argus, but we sent him down to the jungles to investigate Felix Faust. We got one transmission from him about a very powerful source of magic, and then it went dead. So we need you and your little team to go in there and get all the stuff that, find out what's going on, basically, and stop Felix Faust. And he's like, "Yeah, we don't really have a team." And he's like, "Oh, really? We've been calling it Justice League Dark internally." He's like, "All right, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life." But regardless, the team kind of fell apart. So they're definitely not going to help. By the way, even if I was to get this team together, what's to stop me from just going down there and taking the magic item anyway? He's like, "Well, I'm going to let you into the Black Room for 10 minutes. Well, I'm just going to have my back turned, and you can maybe just take a few things if you want. But the reason that you're not going to take stuff while you're down there is you're going to be going with this agent, Black Orchid. She answers directly to me. She's a shapeshifter. That's all you got to know." So he's like, "All right, well, I'll see what I can do, but no promises." And Steve's like, all right, whatever. By the way, I need that Dreamstone back. And he's like, "Dang." So it cuts back to the future real quick, but just what happened in the past. He goes and he talks to all the members of the group, and he's basically like, "All right, so come on, help me out here." And everyone is immediately just like, "No, there's no way we're helping." But John turns to Andrew Bennett. He's like, "Hey, remember at the end of I, Vampire, I said you owed me one? I'm calling in that ship now." He's like, "Fine, I'll do it. But just, this is the one thing, and then I'm going back to my own book, and you're not going to see me again." And then he tries convincing everybody else, but then Xanadu specifically is like, "Dude, Constantine, everyone who works with you is worse off for it. You are a fucking blight." And so she's like, "All right, cool. Bye, I guess. Thanks, everyone. Thought I could count on my friends." So he leaves. Zatanna follows after him. And he reveals to her, like, "Hey, I was going to get into the black room. Like, that's the whole reason I'm trying to do this. And she's like, well, okay, why? Like, what do we get out of it, though? Like, yeah, you get in the black room. What do we get out of it? And he tells Zatanna, he didn't see anything at all, I don't believe, at least, unless I missed something. But he says that Steve Trevor showed pictures of the black room to him, and he saw Zatanna's father's magic hat in the back corner. And he's trying to convince Zatanna that all of her dead father's stuff is in this room, and he promises that when he's in there, he'll get it for her. And she says, are you sure? Because I will convince the others if that's the truth. And he says, I swear. And so she goes back to convince the others, and he's totally fucking lying. So in chronological order here, they beat back Felix's goons, but Felix made it up actually into the temple itself while the fight was going on. So they make their way up the stairs, and as they get up to the top, they walk inside, and they have some more goons attacking them inside. They use their powers to fight off as best they can until finally they get to Felix, and Felix is just basically he has such power and such control over all the different forms of magic in this room that nobody is able to get to him. Dead man can't possess him. Zatanna's magic's useless. Vampire just bounces off him. So Constantine walks up and is just like, I'm just gonna take him. And he grabs Constantine by the throat and he's like, oh, what can you do here? Your magic is useless as well. And so then he's like, good thing I'm not magic. And he transforms, and it turns out it was actually Black Orchid the whole time. And she just lays a punch into Felix Faust's face and knocks him out cold. And then we see the one that we thought was Black Orchid was actually Constantine being shielded by Zatanna's magic. So while Felix is out, Black Orchid goes and gets in contact with the guy who originally came from Argus and makes sure he's okay. And he directs them to the source of Felix Faust's magic. And as they open up the container that it's in, they feel just this powerful force emanating from it. And Constantine explains that it's a tesseract, an 8-dimensional map. And only Constantine has really heard of it, along with the Argus guy. And Constantine explains, like, no, you don't understand. This thing is a map to the most powerful magical artifacts in existence. If you could get this, you could have the source of all magic on your side. This is a map to the books of magic. And that's where we leave off of. Books of magic. Okay, I'm good. I really like the voices on the characters. I think it's solidly done. The main problem I've had with this book up to this point is that it feels unnecessarily confusing. And I feel like this is a lot more straightforward. There's a lot more like, okay, A to B to C to D. Like, yes, it's told out of order, but it's told out of order in that you're only told something when you need to know it. But, like, I can, in sense of following the plot, not to further the mystery of what the hell is going on. So, I'm liking the direction Jeff Lemire takes this. Art-wise, Mikel Janin, top of his game, as he always is. My only critique is that I think Andrew Bennett, aka the Vampire, I think I only really like him when he's drawn by Andrea Sorrentino, because I had that same thing happen during the crossover event. I think Andrea Sorrentino is the only one who can really make Bennett work for me. Otherwise, he just kind of looks like a tool. But, you know, that's just me. Overall, I'm going to give it an 8. It's really, really good starting out for this arc. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. I trust in Jeff Lemire's storytelling ability, because he's not let me down so far with Animal Man by far. So, very interested and looking forward to seeing how it continues from here.